Hello everybody, welcome back to another Nano Reef Freak video. Today we're going to go over the Biocube, talk about how it's been doing, and talk about all the livestock. First off, the Biocube, all the fish are doing fantastic. We've added the 2 clownfish from the Eshop's Deskmate 4.8 gallon into the Biocube. We still have the Coral Beauty in here. The only reason the Coral Beauty is not in the Innovative Marine tank is because I'm a little worried that she's going to pick on my fleshier corals, so she is in the Biocube as like a test bed to see if she goes and attacks any of the fuzzy mushrooms or any of the soft corals in here. So far, she's doing really good, but I'm a little worried about having my frog spawn and stuff like that in here, so I may move some of these corals over into my Innovative Marine tank here pretty soon. Looking at the fish though, both the clownfish are doing fantastic. The neon goby doing really good. The yellow watchman goby is doing great as well. He's still in there. And the coral beauty is thriving, running around, eating, pecking at stuff, having lots of fun. The Nacerius snails are still doing great. All the hermit crabs are still in there. We haven't lost anybody. Funnily enough, we've actually had a hermit crab take a shell that has a fuzzy mushroom attached to it, which the clownfish were not happy about. But that fuzzy mushroom hermit crab combo have been walking around the tank now for probably 4 or 5 days at this point, and it's pretty funny. We're kind of checking every day to see how long the mushroom either stays on the hermit crab or how long the hermit crab stays in the shell before he picks a shell that doesn't have as much baggage along with it. Outside of the fish, we do have the corals. So we have 2 green Kenya trees in there that we got from a buddy, and he gave those to us for free, which was awesome. Those corals are doing great. They're not as green right now because the daylight's on for the video, and the Biocube does go through a light cycle of having like a daylight and then a blue segment in the morning and the evening. So those really color up later on in the day. As for the toadstool leather, doing fantastic. The zoas, the other chaos, are doing really good. They've got an extra head. All the mushrooms are doing great, as you would expect. The frog spawn is doing fantastic. We've also added in some xenia, which is doing really good. And we've also added in some clove polyps, which are doing fantastic as well. In today's video, we're going to go ahead and clean the Biocube and really get in there and kind of clean all the algae off, check the protein skimmer, check and see the water level, and we probably will do a water change as well just to make sure everything in there is perfect. So let's go and take a look. First off, let's take a look at the protein skimmer. So if we open up the Biocube, we can take a look at the protein skimmer cup right here. Taking a look at just the lid of the protein skimmer, it is pretty nasty. You actually can't even see through it. It's like opaque. It's pretty wild. So that's a good sign. Taking a look at the protein skimmer, we can see that it's bubbling up really nicely. The skim mate is not quite as thick as I would hope for. It's actually a little watery. I was kind of hoping it'd be like a thicker, darker skim mate, but that's not too bad. So let's take that cup out of there and get a better look at that. All right, so here's our cup of skim mate. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of see through this cup of skim mate. It's not the darkest thing in the world. So do I wish the skim mate was darker? Yes. Is this good enough? Probably. This is only a 14-gallon tank as well, so this is actually probably not too bad. Here's what I mean with the skim mate being not very dark. You can see the actual liquid in there is not very dark, but there's like a sediment all around the edges of the cup. This is still pretty nasty stuff that would be in your aquarium otherwise without a protein skimmer. So do I recommend a protein skimmer? Heck yeah. Is the Biocube one the best one out there? Definitely not. Is it good enough? I think it was like 40 or 50 bucks on sale. So I mean, for that price, I think this is excellent. But compared to some of the other protein skimmers out there that are $100 or $200, they can probably do better than this. All right, protein skimmer cup is now nice and clean. You can see right through it now, which is pretty awesome. We're gonna go ahead and put that back in there. As for other filtration, we did take out the tray in the second chamber and we did throw some Purigen in there. We also have some extra Biomax FX in the back chamber along with a sponge. You could even put like some Chaeto or something in one of these if you maintain the water level with an auto top off, but we're not doing that, at least not right now. And then as far as the corals, let's go ahead and we can turn this off actually and get a cool top-down look for everybody. So, well, it's really hard to get a top-down, I guess, with the glare there of the lights and whatnot. There you can see our utter chaos, so you can see that there's a new little head on the right side of the colony, which is really good to see. We can see the clownfish down there loving their little mushrooms. I mean, they are always just having a blast. Other than that, the clove polyps are over here. These are those clove polyps that I was talking about. And one of my favorite things, so this is pulsing xenia. A lot of people hate on it because it's like a literal weed. but I just love the way those hands move. The water is off, like the filter is no longer pumping, and just look at them like pulse and open and close. That is so cool. It's so cool. It's like one of my favorite corals. Just so neat. It's like a little alien species. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get this cleaning underway. First of all, I'm gonna steal this little sponge out of here and go clean this off. The frog spawn is also doing so awesome. Just look at this, look how good this coral looks. This looks sick. This is like definitely my favorite coral, one of my favorite corals in here, other than the Xenia. Like, I think that's the biggest part of this hobby, is I just love so many corals. I just love like so many elements of this hobby that to me, it's like, there's no one coral other than like maybe Trichophilia that you could say I'm absolutely in love with. Like, I really do love Trichophilia. All right, time to get in here. I'm just gonna use the filter sponge to actually clean all the algae off because it's actually pretty good at that. Looks like we've definitely got some algae that's gonna be harder to get off. So probably need the plastic razor blade for that. So we'll go ahead and grab that bad boy. Again, the plastic scraper I use is the flipper scraper. So this is the 12-inch flipper scraper with the orange handle. Not sponsored, just something I've bought with my own money, and I happen to like it quite a bit. I'm actually gonna go ahead and take the scraper off of this, and then that way I can just use it by hand. It's basically like a little plastic credit card, and it does pretty good at getting algae off, especially when you take it by hand like this. You can get pretty even force on it, where when you have the handle, it's a little more difficult to get even force on it. The hardest part about the Biocube is getting all these corners. So you can get in here with a plastic scraper and get the corners pretty well, especially with one like the flipper where it bends pretty readily. You can actually get it in there pretty decently, but it is really annoying. I do like it as a design aesthetic. I think it looks really pretty. I just wish that it was easier to clean. It's the main problem I have with it. Sometimes using the flipper handle will help you get down in those hard to reach corners too. So sometimes I put it on just when I'm trying to get down in there like this. You'll also notice when I clean this tank, I only clean half of it at a time so the clownfish can hide on the other half of the tank. If I clean the entire thing at once, they would just be swimming back and forth like crazy trying to find a place to hide here. You'll see too, we've got some algae in the sand bed that we've scraped down, and that's totally normal stuff. Now we're gonna go ahead and get the other side here. Another nice thing about this flipper card, you can hold it like this up in the light and see if any of the algae is still there. You can actually see the stark contrast having that white card behind the algae there. So I don't know if they intended it that way, but it ends up being a pretty useful tool for finding little spots that you missed. You can also look through on the other side of the aquarium, look through the other side of glass if it's clear, and see the algae there. So that can also be a helpful way to find that. Looks like I missed a lot in this corner, a lot more than I thought. Okay, let's see. I think I'm actually just gonna tone down the protein skimmer just like one little quarter turn to see if that helps with the skim mate being thicker. I'm gonna turn their filter back on, let the water kind of clear up for a minute. Guys, look, the chalk basselet's out. I have no idea how close he'll let me get before he goes back in his little hole. Oh, apparently that close.
Now I just want to talk a little bit more about the aquarium, things like what happened in the first 90 days, some of the challenges we faced. So in the first 90 days, fortunately, we didn't lose any fish. Using some of the live bacteria and live filter media in this tank really helped out. Also having so much rock in this tank really helps. A good tip for that, as you can see in this tank, the rock goes all the way up to the water surface. It actually pokes up out of the water by about a centimeter or two. So with that in mind, we can fit as much rock as possible in here. We probably have like 10 to 15 pounds at least, and this is a 14-gallon tank. So having at least 1 pound of rock per gallon is great. If you can get 2 pounds of rock per gallon in there, even better. And you also want to make sure you're getting rock that's really porous. So that is one tip I have for everybody. Another thing that we've faced challenge-wise with this aquarium is the water flow. So there's one outlet and it's really too small to have a power head on the right side. We did try that to have a power head on the right side and it just wasn't functional enough. On a 29-gallon you probably could do that in a Biocube, but on a 14-gallon The outflow return nozzle on the top left is plenty, and it's actually just enough to where it's not disturbing the sand bed, so I probably could put some of my soft corals that I love so much in the bottom there, maybe right in the middle, and put that mushroom up on the rock somewhere, that yellow one. As for all the corals, are doing great. Some of the other challenges we faced coral-wise though, the water level in this tank is kind of hard to manage. So you would think with a full hood on a Biocube that water evaporation would not be a problem at all. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. The reason being, we had to put a fan on the back of the Biocube, so if you watched my previous video on the Biocube where it leaked all over the place, I love how you can see that hermit crab right in the middle, by the way, it's kind of funny. But with my previous Biocube video, we did have to put a fan on the hood because there was condensation building up on the hood. The fan has airflow that there's basically vents on the front of the hood, and the airflow comes in through the vents, expels the airflow out through the back, and prevents all that condensation. That generates a problem though. We have a lot of evaporation in the tank because we basically have constant airflow over the tank, so it's effectively as if there is no hood on the aquarium. With that in mind, it means I have to put fresh water in here as often as I have to put fresh water in my 4.8 gallon Pico tank. So that's kind of a problem. Outside of the evaporation being an issue, and also, salinity being an issue and things like that, the management of dosing in this tank is a little challenging. So the smaller your tank gets, the more of a challenge dosing is going to be. So in my 4 gallon, I put like 3 drops of Alpha Reef. In this 14 gallon, I do like, let's say you took the cap of Alpha Reef and you had just enough liquid in that like clear cup that comes on the cap to fill the bottom of the cup. I do like half of that. So maybe like less than half a mil. I mean, it's barely anything. With that in mind, it does really help the aquarium. The Alpha Reef keeps all the corals growing. I'm really glad that we are dosing Alpha Reef, so I wouldn't change that for the world of it. The other thing that is challenging is the protein skimmer. So we either have the protein skimmer producing too much skim bait and it's too, it's basically just water, or we have it producing not enough skim bait. It's really hard to dial in that protein skimmer. And I almost considered just making that entire first chamber a refugium instead of a protein skimmer. And I don't know, there's two concerns here. It could be that this tank is just too small for a protein skimmer and that a protein skimmer just isn't going to do anything on a 14 gallon. Could also be that a 14 gallon could totally have a protein skimmer, it's just that I don't have enough bio load. If I had this tank completely full of LPS corals that were getting fed every 3 or 4 days and I'm feeding the fish every day, we could build up nutrients in this tank super duper fast, and a protein skimmer could really do some heavy lifting then. A refugium, on the other hand, is a lot more of a conservative approach. It's a lot more affordable. All you need is a light on the back and some Chaeto. You're talking maybe like 50-60 bucks of an investment, where the Biocube protein skimmer costs the same amount basically, but some of the protein skimmers above the Biocube one, quality-wise, are 200 or 300 bucks. So even the eShops one is like 160. So the refugium is a lot more cost effective, and it's something you can kind of share with your fellow hobbyist friends. As your Chaeto grows, you'll have to throw some of it away. You can donate it to your friends or something like that, which is pretty cool. So I don't know, I might do a refugium eventually. I think the protein skimmer is a little bit challenging in this tank. I may even try switching the protein skimmer to the 25 Lagoon because that tank has really bad oil film on the top. And then maybe I can try a refugium, the Biocube, and just see if we get better results. Outside of that, the only other challenges we've really faced is lighting. So the light on this tank is just not very strong. Unfortunately, that means that the corals we have in here are doing great, but if you noticed, all the corals are zinnia, mushrooms, zoas, leathers, really low light corals. You probably could get away with some brain coral, like some open brain coral LPSs, or maybe some of your lower light LPS corals, but really this tank, I've seen people online measure the par, and 1 inch from the surface you're getting maybe 115 par, and on the sand bed you're maybe getting 40. So really the par is just not there, and I really do need to consider an LED upgrade. And this tank, to clarify, has LEDs, but I mean, maybe someday we can 3D print a bracket and put like a 12-inch AI blade in there, for example. It's just a really expensive upgrade to have to do for this tank. You're talking like a $180 upgrade at that point. So I don't know, I wish the lights were a little stronger. Other than that, we haven't really faced many challenges other than the tank overflowing because there was condensation all over the lid. The fan solved that problem. Water evaporation being a constant issue. We really need to get an auto top off for this, so eventually we'll invest in one of those and that will solve that problem. Then the lighting needs to be upgraded eventually, so that will solve that problem someday. And maybe change out the protein skimmer for something like refugium, because I just don't know if the protein skimmer is really doing much on this tank. Other than that, everything's been fantastic. So all the corals are growing, the zoas are finally starting to take off, the clownfish are doing great. The Coral Beauty has not eaten any coral yet. Cross your fingers, knock on wood. I would love to have the Coral Beauty in my Innovative Marine 25 gallon. I'm just terrified that she'll eat my brain coral. I'm absolutely terrified that she'll munch on my brain coral or my Cinerina coral or even my Acanthophilia. So I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the risk. What we might do, honestly, is grow the Coral Beauty for a little bit longer. Maybe she'll get another ½ inch long or an inch long, and then we'll trade her back in at the local fish store and get some store credit and get something else. Get another little frag of coral or something, for example. Other than that, guys, the tank is doing lovely. I love the Biocube. I think it's a great tank. I would definitely recommend it to a beginner reef keeper, because even though the LED is not that strong, a lot of your beginner reef keeper corals are going to be totally fine under this light. Even the frog spawn is doing good. He's probably getting like 70 par where he's at right here, because it's like halfway down the tank. So if you're getting like 40 on the bottom and 115 at the top, he's probably in like 70 or 80 at most as far as par goes. With that said, though, I've really enjoyed this tank. I do think that it is one that you'll outgrow pretty quickly, but it's a beautiful tank, especially for those of you who might want a tank in your living room. Maybe your spouse is not the most into aquariums, but they're okay with you having one, and they just want it to look clean, and the Biocube can be a great tank for that. The only problem you'll face is the corners are a little bit difficult to clean with algae. Other than that, though, it's an amazing tank. Would highly recommend this. The stand is press board, though, so just watch out for that. If you're going to invest in a stand, maybe don't get the Biocube one. I don't know. It's not my favorite, but it looks pretty. So there's that. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Helps me a lot. We're really trying to grow this channel. If you want to see more videos like this, your subscription to the channel really means a lot. It doesn't cost you anything. You just click subscribe. If you really want to help, hit that bell icon to notify you for alerts on the channel. And that helps me make more videos like this and get sponsors and makes this channel possible. We are doing a really cool series coming up in October, so stay tuned for that. I think you guys will really enjoy what we have planned for October, and I will catch you all in the next one.